Hello. All right. So today we are just going straight into things because I don't know how the files, like my intro, outro files, got corrupted on my desktop, which has never happened before to just image files on my desktop. I don't know how that happened. So we're just jumping into things today. So last stream, you guys got a bonus conversation because of my mistake. So this option in my notes, I wrote it as like an option between Jinhai and I. But in the game, it doesn't look like that. In the game, I'm like, oh, this is a bonus conversation. It's not in my notes because it's bonus. I didn't realize if I choose rest, I do bump into I. So I chose talk last time. So you guys watching got a bonus conversation with Jinhai. Had you been playing this yourselves, we should have chosen rest. So I'm gonna do rest here. We're backtracking a little to do this option to get the true ending with I. So thanks again for iCasa, the developers of this game. You guys did a survey on my behalf to see what the more popular ending would be, and most people voted for I's true ending. So I'm going back to do this option so we can get that. Granted, if these streams become popular enough, I really like the friendship ending. I might do a speedrun in the future of that, but we will continue pursuing I's ending. And I should have told Jinhai that I'm just gonna rest in order to pursue that. Also, my voice is still waking up, but I'll do my best matching the voices I did last time. So Lynn says, sorry, I'm a little tired. Could we save it for another time? Come on, mouse. That's perfectly fine. Actually, why don't you take it easy today, then? I really should do something today, though. I haven't done any chores yet. It doesn't feel right otherwise. You've been pushing yourself the last few weeks. We don't really need to clean every day. Not a single speck of dust or soot is able to settle before you've already swept it up. Is that bad? Not necessarily. I just get the impression you feel as though you need to prove your worth, or old habits continue to persist here from your home life. I don't think it's really like that per se. I think it's the only sense of control I have in this situation. I understand. My apologies for the misunderstanding. I'll do my best to make you feel more comfortable going forward. Shoot, I don't know if the sound of the game is being picked up by OBS right now. Let me adjust that real quick. Alright, sorry for the awkward pause here. I think because OBS is used to my headphones being plugged in. Hold on. Odd. Okay. Now OBS says the music's going. Sorry to pause so soon. I'm gonna plug in my headphones because that's what I usually do. I think it's throwing off my OBS settings. But I will be back in just a moment. Okay, I'll continue as I plug in my headphones. So, back to Lynn. Oh no, it's not you. You've done a lot to help me to adjust. I do appreciate it. It's just me, really. Alright, headphones. There we go. Let's see if that helps OBS. Frick! Okay. Now it just looks like the sound cut out. Whatever, I won't use headphones today. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, I think the music's playing. It's just quieter than usual. Jinhai nods, but still looks deep in thought. Then it means you need to feel more comfortable with I. Have you been chatting with her regularly? Yeah, but she tends to clam up when I ask certain questions. Really? What? Be honest with how it makes you feel, then. Tell her what's bothering you. She'll be offended, especially coming from someone like me. You, as in... an ordinary peasant girl. Someone unworthy of bothering the likes of I. Jinhai rests her hand on my shoulder. If it's any consolation, the fact I has kept you here means she finds you very intriguing. You are worth more than you can imagine. Really? It also means I trust you, so use that to your advantage. I see. Then I'll consider it. Good. Now I'll be busy with dinner preparations. Let me help. If you insist on not resting, how about feeding Kin? Doesn't I usually feed Kin? Most of the time. Kin is also quite resourceful, however. Is that all? Yep, I'll see you later. Kin learned that she has a name, and to acknowledge it, rather quickly. I didn't know chickens could be that smart. An eye-shaped shadow suddenly falls over me and Kin. Were you taking a nap? Is that what she said? I had been busy reading. Oh? About what? Oh, come on, music. Okay, let me amp up the music. Ay. OBS is not making the music as loud as I use. There we go. That's so weird that not using headphones today completely changes the sound balance, but you should be able to hear the music now. Anything and everything. I don't get it. I've read everything once, so I am starting to read things a second and third time. Why do you like to read? She really is on a different plane of existence, huh? I just worry about having one meal, let alone a second or third or books. I find it all to be absolutely fascinating. One may see it as a way to continue my own advancement. Advancement towards what? You're already far too amazing. Ai only looks at me and stops talking. Here we go again. Maybe I should try Jinhai's advice. I find it a little... Oh, a little what? Frustrating, when you won't tell me about yourself. Is she mad? I apologize for overstepping. You are right about that. My sincerest apologies. No, not that part. I am holding back, out of general mistrust of all humans. That includes Jinhai. I trust her the least. That cuts through my anxiety enough that I have to suppress a giggle. You two seem awfully close any way I look at it. She's a strange one, but back to the original topic. My advancement towards learning everything there is to know about your world. Is this part of reaching that full potential of yours? That is one part of it. If anything, I want to exist in this world as how I see myself. Oh. That's a bit too deep for me, I think. I can only do this effectively by understanding how the world functions. So, sorta like, know thy enemy? Now you understand me. Anyway, reading is also a form of escape. Escape from the limits of your mind, and also your body and your world. I see. Would you like to learn to read? I still remember the beating I'd gotten for daring to touch someone's book before. Why do you turn away? I don't think I'm smart enough for that. Who told you that? Other adults? That is absolutely ridiculous. You can learn just about anything if you put your mind and time into it. The books and scrolls that I possess are still limited, though. These are the writings of a certain group of individuals. Their view is limited and biased to their own experience and upbringing. Interesting as it may be, it cannot possibly represent enough of how things work, especially when human culture is in a period of change. My own observations of your species have turned up clear contradictions. If that's the case, then why don't you write your own books? What a brilliant idea. Why have I not considered this before? Probably the lack of hands. You are far more clever than what your normal course of action would suggest. Thank you. Come. Where are we going? To Jinhai's room. All the written word is within. Hurry along now. Of course, cute. I love the little, like, chibi characters in between chapters. Alright, so I believe this part we have read. Yes, okay. So, that was the conversation I accidentally didn't choose last time to get Ai's true ending. So, we will skip ahead to where we left off last stream. So, here, Lihn has another nightmare. They talk about it a little, they go on a picnic. Here's their picnic scene. They come back and eat. And then Ai goes off in snake form for a while Jinhai and Lihn talk more. And then the meat preparation. Ai's getting sick of eggs and no meat, although she likes eggs, but they need meat. Alright, so then we do our meat preparation. We go to sleep, and after the following night, this is them, I believe, eating breakfast again. So with Jinhai, what's wrong? You look exhausted. Did you have another nightmare? Oof, I almost put skip. Nah, I just spent too much time thinking about what I said last night. What did she say? She said before the North... Oh yeah, we had like a whole cultural talk, which I think we dive a little more into this time. She said before the Northern influence, my culture was ruled by women. I know it to be true. Wow, you'd have to be old to know that. I am not that old. Really, really old to have been there. For your information, there is a scroll detailing such things that you have not yet read, since it resides in my room. Jinhai's eyes seem to be positively twinkling at this reveal. She sure loves to read. Pretty please? I am feeling rather insulted by your insinuation. We all know that with age comes wisdom, does it not? That is consistent throughout all of our cultural upbringings. I refuse. I'll give you my share of the next egg dish. Done. Wasn't that too easy? In any case, I too have been thinking about what I told you. I believe there are 2 other clues to support my matriarchal premise. Okay. I believe I'm gonna have to do tonal words again, and I did record myself saying said words. I want to do my best, even though I don't speak tonal languages, I want to do my best to try pronouncing these words correctly. So let me pull up my recording. I know we're gonna come into it soon. We both put our chopsticks down to show our full attentiveness. Satisfied, Ai begins. I believe we can all agree that language is, in general, a reflection of culture. Beliefs, values, and customs are interwoven with language and play a large part in how we express ideas to one another. Agreed. Think of when new cultures and customs cross via exchange of goods, as one example. New words may be added to the language of either or both. Concepts may be adapted and excuse me, even improvised. That was the eggs messing with my throat. Even improvised into entirely new languages, and so on. Languages constantly evolve and change like culture itself. Your language alone has probably 6 different cultures from all over this region mixed in over many, many years. Really? How many languages can you speak, Ai? Too many. Back to the topic. As it grows, the language may end up breaking up into different branches that make it easier to manage as a whole, or due to changes in geographical density. In the worst cases, a language can die out within a few generations, if it no longer... Oh, there's supposed to be an is there. If it is no longer spoken or taught. This can also happen to any country that invades or controls another. But I digress. Before I stray too far from the main point, it is this. Even if a culture is drastically changed or even assimilated, some remnants of its tradition will still exist in the language and people originally there. I think we're getting to her main point now. So you're saying my language has evidence that we used to favor women? Yes. What is the word for a married couple? Okay. I recorded me saying this. Oh, yeah. The accent marks, this is Vietnamese, I believe. So Lihn is Vietnamese. And the accent marks for tones in Vietnamese are different from the tone marks for Mandarin. And I believe Cantonese uses the same marks. So I recorded this. Hold on one moment. I think this is it. Okay, I think. One moment. Okay, Voi Chong, I believe, is the tone for this word. Voi Chong. Doing my best. I hope I got the tones more or less correctly. So this is the phrase for a married couple. Voi means wife, and Chong means husband. It is a compound word. The key is that wife is listed first. In most languages, it is the reverse. Oh. Is that true? I believe so. I would have to research more deeply to confirm, but do you not find it particular? That is an insightful point to consider. And your other example? Okay, I also recorded this one. One moment while I go back to my recording. First phrase. Nous l'on quang chua. Okay. Have you heard the phrase Nous l'on quang chua? God, if anyone speaks Vietnamese, I hope I am getting these mostly correct. I have not. It means 5 princesses of dragons. 5 daughters are said to be a sign of good luck in a family. Why would such a phrase exist if her culture favored boys? Fascinating as always, Thank you for the lesson. Why don't we take a break and eat our meal before it gets cold? I suppose so. Yeah. Could that really be the truth then? I really always keeps me on my toes. You never get bored when she's around, huh? Oh, before I forget, the meal was delicious as always. Thank you. And yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. My pleasure as always. But what are your thoughts on this latest talk? Honestly, I don't know. Originally, I thought it was really far-fetched. But the more I think about it, I realize it's in line with a lot of things in my life that never made sense. And now they sorta do. But it also just makes everything feel more confusing. Do you feel that ignorance is bliss, then? I can definitely see the appeal of it. At the same time, though, I feel like it shouldn't be wrong if I decide I want more from this world. Your past does not have to define you, though. You can learn from it. If anything, history is proof that you could do amazing things given the opportunity. Ah, aye. Interrupting a conversation is bad manners, you know. Formalities. We are beyond this point, no? Bluntly put as always, though I will say I agree with I's sentiment nonetheless. I've been getting this impression a lot more lately. But it is not our place to tell Lihn how to live her life. I only want her to have options to explore new things. I'm right here, you know, and I agree with you two. I do want more. For once, I don't think it has anything to do with proving myself or learning out of necessity. I just want to be a better version of myself. Then what would you like to do? Deep down, what have I always wanted to do? I want to learn how to read and to swim. Excellent. I will be pleased to teach you. Will your mermaid form really be able to teach a finless human how to swim? I am sure we will manage. Well then, Lihn, at least you won't drown with her around. I heard that. How about we trade, and you can teach her how to read and write? You are more than qualified to teach that. Jinhai leans in and whispers in my ear, which is her way of saying my handwriting is better than hers. I heard that. Now, no need to be upset. It's only because I've had more practice than you. Jinhai wiggles her fingers in midair. I can only snort and roll her eyes. Then it looks like we have an agreement. Sorry for the selfish request. I hope it won't interfere with everyone's work. Not at all. It'll be our absolute pleasure. Why don't we start now? Jinhai, what would you like to learn first? Alright. Let us do... Let me see, last time? The order shouldn't matter here. Last time we hung out with Jinhai a lot, so we'll do swimming first. Swimming might be fun. Yes, let's get going now. Without waiting for a response or for me to walk over myself, I immediately wraps her tail around my middle and pulls me along towards the pond. Aye! Have fun! I can see Jinhai waving at us as she heads off to the garden. She's clearly not going to save me. Ai quickly brings me to the edge of the pond, but abruptly releases her coils before diving in. You're going to give me a heart attack. Heart disease, I think is what it said, actually. Alright, now just hop right in. I need to think things through. This was a very bad idea. Nonsense, the water is fine. It seems cold. Oh, right. Well, I will keep you warm with my body. I'm not gonna learn how to swim being attached to you. You make a valid point. I can make the water warm where you are, though I cannot warm the entire pond out of consideration for the other creatures in it. I promise it will be perfectly fine. The weather is also very warm right now. Come, it will not be as bad as you expect. I don't know. Ai puts her hand out. Trust me. All right. I take off my outerwear and place it on the side. As I take her hand, she pulls me step by step into the water. Huh, it really is warm. Such a thing is simple for me. She starts tugging me along into deeper water. Do not panic, you are safe. What are we going to do now? The idea that I might let go to see if I sink or swim crosses my mind. It occurred to me that unlike myself, you cannot breathe underwater, so we will begin with that. Her hands secure themselves under my arms and stay there firmly. Now what? I'm going to slowly submerge you for a few seconds at a time. Stop. Stop fidgeting. I did not finish my instructions. You will take a breath, and when underwater, you will blow it out through your mouth. I will pull you up before you run out. Do I blow it out all at once? Imagine you are trying to make bubbles underwater, nice and steady. Now then, are you ready? No. You are not a child. Now take a breath. I'm slowly submerged underwater in Ai's firm hold, just enough so the water covers my head. I do my best to breathe out steadily. But before I even finish, she pulls me up again. Congratulations on not drowning. Here we go again. Well, wait. Ai dips me again, and again. We end up doing this a number of times, each submersion longer than the last. You are doing fantastic. The next step is to work out those lower appendages. Legs. You mean legs. I feel her hand pressing on my stomach as she starts to tilt me into prone position. Can we discuss this? Now start moving those legs. Confusion and panic seems to have my legs moving however they want. I'm trying. No, you are not running in water. Try this leg motion instead. She moves her first two fingers up and down, switching between the two repeatedly. Despite my best efforts, I don't last very long. Time for rest. She carries me back to land and I catch my breath. Good work. Are we done? Just a bit more until your legs get stronger. I'm not sure I'm getting any better. I do not expect you to master it. Humans were built to last on land, not water. And it is your first lesson, after all. Maybe if I eat fish, I'll swim better? I can get you fish, but I am doubtful it would actually help. Humans sure come up with odd ideas. What do you mean? Somehow they believe that if you eat an animal's body part, it would endow them with its unique properties. For example, they will eat soft-shelled turtles, thinking it will give them better skin. Huh. Sort of like how eating tiger penis doesn't actually have sexually enhancing properties? Yes. Why do humans... Never mind. Some things will never make sense to me. How do you explain why some people believe things like that actually work for them? It is a manner of self-hypnosis, self-fulfillment, if you will. If you are motivated to believe something will work, you will feel that it is indeed working. Even if, in reality, it has no effect, the mind is a very powerful tool. Mouse, click. There we go. Huh. Here. She grabs a stringy plant from the bottom of the pond and shows it to me. You should eat this. It can aid in digestion and also cleanse your body of any impurities. Wow, really? That sounds neat. I take it from her and examine it. She quickly takes it back. You believe me because I am a goddess and always correct. Your mind already believes it to be true, and you may feel better after eating this for a spell. Assuming it doesn't actually have any harmful properties. Oh. Most seaweed is edible, but freshwater types are toxic. Do not eat this. She tosses the plant over her shoulder with a small plop. You can also use that mindset to your advantage. So you're basically saying you want me to believe in myself? Yes, that is a nice way to put it. Now let us try again. This time, it goes a lot better. I'm actually moving forward. What should I do with my arms? I'm not exactly sure. For fish, the side fins are used for balance, side-to-side motion and stopping. For humans... I have to say, your impression of the world is making me see things in a whole new light. I'm almost ready to believe you've experienced it all yourself. A different impression, or maybe animal. Ah, I've got it. The frog. The what? Did you say frog? During Ai's aha moment, she accidentally drops me. You have seen one, yes? So sorry. While it is swimming. I think I get what you're referring to. So you want me to move like how a frog does? Yes. You've 4 limbs and no webbing, but that should be fine. Push your arms forward, then pull back alongside your body. Continue moving your legs as before. How do I breathe? This method should propel you up for air in a rhythm once you become accustomed to it. Let's stop here. Nonsense. I know you still have energy left. I am holding your hands. Start moving your legs first. I stop moving as a form of protest. Ai, unexpectedly, pulls me close and holds me against her. Her skin is smooth and surprisingly, or maybe not, colder than my own. This form of hers seems more human than the snake one, but I guess she really isn't in either form, huh? I apologize. My excitement for you got ahead of me. You are afraid. That is a normal reaction for all first experiences. I promise I will not let go unless I think you are ready. What do you say? I don't know. I know you can do it. I'll try it, I guess. Good. Okay, I still have your hands. Now start moving those legs. I dips my head in and out of the water to work on my breathing, and I try to follow along with my legs as best I can. All right, now show me with just one hand how to do the frog stroke. Good, just like that. Now switch sides. She finally releases both my hands and moves a short distance away. Doing the frog stroke with both hands propels my upper half, or at least my head, above the water temporarily. It's working. Way to go, Lihn. Despite the water in my eyes and the short distance between us, I can see a big smile on Ai's face. Swimming towards her outreached hands, I grab on for dear life and catch my breath. You did wonderfully. Now let's go again. Take a breath. She lets go of my hands once more, but retreats a little further this time. Slowly but surely, I make my way towards her, but each time I look up, she seems to be the same distance away. Am I no longer moving? Trying again yields the same results. The plants around us, though... I knew it. She's moving back on purpose. I finally stays in place, and I use the last of my energy to make a quick rush at her. I end up kicking past her hands and straight into her arms. Oh, miss me already? I try to pinch her, but it doesn't seem to work on her scales. No, but that wasn't fair. You kept moving away. That is simply a way to push you further. It was effective, no? Besides, even if you did drown... She tips my chin and leans in close to my face. I could always give you the kiss of life. My hands reflexively push her face away. No thanks. Panicking causes my arms and legs to flail aimlessly, but the fact they were already exhausted made it even more impossible to get back under control. That's enough swimming for today. She hooks one arm around my chest and pulls me back to shore, depositing me gently on the grass. I brought you a towel. Your clothes are being warmed by the earth. The hearth. That is a word I don't see often. Thank you. I head back to the house in a probably noticeable hurry. What did you do? I only teased her a little. Uh-huh. Honest. Why can't I have normal dreams? But for some reason, I feel less panicked. Instead, I'm vaguely annoyed? I'll take it over panic, I suppose. Above me. Those are some big hands. It's not trying to reach for me, though. As I move closer to the hands so I can take a closer look, the hand strokes my head. What in the world? I try to take a breath and... Another one? But I think I'm starting to see a weird pattern. Who is it? Alright, I haven't saved in a while. Let us save just in case. I will save over this one, I suppose. Okay. I'll say future after swimming, just to keep track of what's what. Yes. Return. Okay. You okay? I heard a lot of rustling from your room. Just another one of those water dreams. Can I come in? Sure. Tell me about the dream. Mostly the same as usual, but with teenager-sized hands, probably, but it got slightly different from there. The hands didn't move, just sorta hovered there above me. Then what happened? I went to check it out, but then they touched me. Was that all? Yeah, it was very weird. Why do I keep having dreams that don't make sense? I thought it was an old memory, but that's odd if so, since it seems to be changing bit by bit. That is unusual indeed. How do you feel? Okay, I guess. I wasn't afraid, so maybe the lessons are working. That is good to hear. We should continue to work on them, then. If you say so. Do you still want to eat fish? There are some really annoying ones in the pond that I would be more than happy to serve. Well, maybe when I get tired of the pork, we can try it. I will hold you to it. It is still too early to be up and about. Why don't you try getting more rest? Yes, sorry for waking you. Not at all. Good night. Good night. There's so much to do here that I'm starting to lose track of time. I've been so into trying out new things that progress makes me giddy, and I don't even mind the failures that much. Today I should start with writing. Okay. So writing kind of ties in, if I remember correctly, with the end of this route. Writing actually comes in rather importantly, so it's fun seeing Lynn learning new skills, but the writing does tie in very closely to the end of this route with I, so I feel like it's just worth pointing out. Are you sure I'm ready for this? You've been doing very well with remembering and conversing. This is a great time to move to the next step. Can I stick with sand? Come now, it'll be fun. Feels like it'll just be a waste of paper to throw me at it. We can always make more. That's pretty tedious. I have plenty of time, as you may have noticed. Now hold the brush like this. Very good. Try to keep your hands steady at all times. Most of the movement should be at the elbow or shoulder, rather than the wrist. That sounds easier said than done. Watch me first. Jinhai quickly writes out a character, holding her sleeve out of the way with her other hand. This is yang. It means forever. It's the perfect starter word since it has all 8 basic strokes. So I should copy that? Remember which lines I did first. It'll be much easier. If you fail, just try again right below it. I give it my best effort, but seeing the black ink blooming on white paper as it slowly forms into a character of permanence makes me feel overwhelmed. Oh gosh, it's ugly. Wonderful first try. Try again and again. I follow her instructions, repeating a stroke when it comes out too narrow. Don't try to correct yourself too much, or else... Just as she warns me, I poke a hole into the paper. I tore a paper with a soft brush. How could I be so bad at this? Don't be too fixated on your mistakes. Training in the sand likely made your strokes a tad too strong. How so? Sand is great for learning, but it can also absorb all the pressure you put into it. So that's why you wanted me to shift to paper. On the nose. Now let's try again on the other side. Don't worry about perfection, just have fun. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. This goes on for a while. When I look up to give myself a brief mental break, I notice Jinhai completely engrossed in reading. Have you read everything in this house yet? Ooh, this might be a new song. Oh, maybe. Okay, never mind. I mentioned a couple of streams ago that since I played this game when it came out, there's a few new soundtracks. I got excited thinking this was one of them. But no, this is one of the regular soundtracks, but it's still a nice piece. Have you read everything in this house yet? Far from it. I have read most of the ones in my language, but it takes quite a bit longer to read the others. It's really good practice. I see. I must have collected a lot of material over the years then, huh? Some of it is, most likely. What do you mean? This home wasn't always I's. It isn't. Who was the owner then? I am not privy to that information, though I have seen his name a few times in some of the material. All I can tell is that he seems to be from the Far East land. Really? Why would a man from that oh wow, I think that's a typo. Why would a man from that far away have such a big home here of all places? Perhaps we can ask her someday about it. This is definitely a new mystery. My stomach makes a sound. Hoping Jinhai didn't hear it, I sneak a peek in her direction. Distracted as she is with her book, I can tell she's got a slight smile regardless. When she notices my gaze, she brings the book higher to hide. Aw, you heard it. My apologies. Perhaps we should have an earlier meal today. I can get on board with that. What are we making? Something new? I'm thinking about fried noodles and sauce called... Okay. I got this, I hope. Is it going up? I'm so rusty on this. Jia, zhang, myang. Ooh, I hope I said that more or less correctly. I can only guess it involves noodles and sauce. Let's see. The recipe differs for each family and region. The basic standard uses a type of fermented soybean paste. We'll be adding some diced shiitake mushrooms and squash, with sliced carrots and cucumbers. It's a dish that we simmer until we make a thicker sauce that is added to noodles to coat them, then mixed together. Sounds delicious. It's vegetarian then? We can use firm tofu or mushrooms, but it's actually most common with diced pork. We can make both at the same time, next to each other. That sounds like fun, and not too difficult. Does it need a side dish? Since it's a dry noodle type, a side of soup should go together nicely. Ooh, let's get started. After we get you a few more characters in. Oh, poo. I never imagined I'd enjoy cooking this much. I wonder if I'll grow to like it as much as you. Or, do you still see it as a form of meditation? I do. But your expression seems so joyous whenever we cook. Do you believe in love? Yikes! That was rude. Out of line, Lihn. I believe there are many types of love in this world. Which did you have in mind? Maybe I can take it back? Or perhaps you are asking me if monks fall in love? Well, now that you've brought it up... Not exactly, but now I'm really curious. I'm sure some do. They are human beings after all. It's hard to give up everything. But should they wish to be ordained, they are not allowed to act on those feelings. Have you been in love before? Jinhai seems pretty taken aback by the question. I'm not sure. Perhaps I've built strong attachments before, but... She seems confused. Maybe I should try giving my thoughts? I don't think I've, fallen in love before. Oh? I mean, I do believe it exists. I just don't think I've felt that deeply before towards someone. Maybe short-lived crushes at most, or maybe I just haven't met the right person? At the same time, though, it makes me wonder if I'm even capable of falling in love with someone. That is certainly an interesting outlook. Alright, I guess this seems like a good area of the game to go on a tangent. So, a while back, the creators/writers of this game mentioned on Twitter, their official Twitter, that Lihn was written like with the perspective of her being demisexual, which is under the asexual umbrella. So for those not familiar, asexuality is an orientation where people don't experience sexual attraction. Demisexuals are in that umbrella, that community. They are essentially asexual, don't experience sexual attraction, but upon forming a close bond with someone, may develop those feelings with that particular person, as opposed to non-asexual people. It's, I guess, much quicker. People will be like, oh, that person's attractive, and immediately is, like, interested in them. It depends on the person, but anyhow, she's kind of under the asexual umbrella, but as we see in this game, develops romantic and even sexual feelings towards her person of interest. So that was a very rough description. I recommend Googling it if anyone's interested. But going back to her last comment, so here she flat out says, I wonder if I'm even capable of falling in love with someone. Kind of ties in with the mentality with which her character was written for this game. So, again, that was a very rough description. I highly recommend Googling it if you're interested, but I think it's really interesting that the creators intentionally had that in mind when they wrote Lynn's character. Okay, so she makes that comment. Jinhai responds, that is certainly an interesting outlook. Is it wrong to be this way? Of course not. Everyone is unique and experiences different things. Or the same things, but in different ways. If you find romantic love with someone someday, that is wonderful. If you do not, that is equally wonderful. What do you think is true love, then? According to the Enlightened One, if you have kindness, compassion, joy, and freedom, then you are experiencing true love. You can find it within yourself, within everyone and everything. Freedom. Freedom to be yourself, to grow and develop in your own way and feel comfortable to share things with others. Oh. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to share that with me. It must not have been easy. I gotta admit, I was afraid I'd overstepped my bounds with all that. I will always hear you out should you wish to talk to me about anything. Anything. I have one more question, then. Yes? You said you were no longer a monk, but why do you still behave like one? Old habits, perhaps. Though personally, I don't feel there is much difference between a regular person and a monk. We just try to practice living according to the tenets in all aspects of life. That sounds pretty hard with all those rules. It's definitely easier when you grow up in it. Limitations tend to be less noticeable when they're the expected standard for your upbringing. That does make sense. Aren't they stifling, though? That's if you see them as limitations in the first place. Some would consider it freeing, if anything. You do not have to be bound to things that can cause you unrest and suffering. Well, I have to say, now I definitely feel a bit enlightened myself, and it's pretty refreshing. She gives me one of her most sincere smiles. I am glad to hear that. I can see that Ai is getting restless. Why don't we stop our lessons for now? As she mentions, I can see Ai's shadow behind the door. Yeah, that sounds good. It's a cute little animation. I like the little animations with their little chibi characters. Today's excellent surprise is steamed eggs. Ooh, is it easy? Yes, it's just eggs, stock, and a little bit of salt. Do you remember our deal? Of course. Here you go. I take a bite. It's super soft and deliciously simple. This doesn't seem right, though. Please share some of mine. It's perfectly fine. I've had it countless times. I insist, it's absolutely delicious and the texture is divine. That's the work of the bamboo steamer, absorbing the steam so that the droplets don't fall into it. She's trying to distract me. All the more reason for you to have some of its deliciousness. During the whole exchange, Ai has managed to finish eating both portions. Now I feel a bit guilty about all this. A deal is a deal. It's not an issue. Eat her remaining half so everyone will be happy then. If you both insist. She takes my offered bowl and eats the remainder. For some reason, I feel like I'm seeing an expression on her face that I haven't before. Peacefulness? Sadness? It isn't what I was predicting, at least. It's really delicious, as you say. Everything else is wonderful as well. Ah, fried sauce noodles. Looks appetizing. Here you go. I hand her the meaty variation. Definitely can't go wrong with pork. Everyone laughs. I can't do everyone at the same time. I've really been in the mood for a walk under the moonlight. Tonight seems like a good time. Oh, is that... Oh, what a surprise to see you out here tonight. Same. Would you like to walk together? I wanted to enjoy the stars. That sounds delightful. I would be glad to. We walk around the garden in quiet respite. I have to say, I'm surprised to see you out here instead of I. She seems cooped up in her room tonight. I wonder why. Is that why you're out here? I was in need of some fresh air. Is something wrong? Nothing to worry about, but thank you for your concern. I see. There's another question that I've been pondering then. Feel free to ask. You mentioned growing up in that lifestyle, so how old were you when you became a monk? Jinhai stops walking and stares at the water. Hold on, let me check if this is one of the new songs. Ooh. I do think this is one of the new soundtracks. I don't recognize this soundtrack. And with that excuse, I'm gonna let it play as I get a water break. Hold on. Interesting. It has a very, like, lullaby quality to it, which is interesting, given we're having a deep conversation. But it is nighttime, so it seems appropriate. Interesting. Yeah, this is definitely a new track, as far as I remember. Okay. Alright, I had a little water. We're gonna get back to the game. Alright, I'll lower the volume a tiny bit. Okay. Jinhai stops walking and stares at the water. I was quite a young child. You knew as a child that was your calling. I've heard stories about a few kids like that. She shakes her head. My mother felt it was best and safer for me to stay at a monastery. Mind me asking why? The topic is not for the faint of heart. I still want to know. Tell me to stop if it becomes difficult to handle. Well, to start with, my village was like any other. However, there had been a large increase in the number of scary incidents occurring. What was happening? First, the elders thought it was just kids running off. It was later revealed that a number of children were being kidnapped, most specifically girls. A dark pit forms in my stomach at this. Jinhai assesses my reaction, then continues. The village was poor, so it wasn't unusual for kids to beg or do odd jobs. Still, they were lured and taken away. Some were snatched while going out to use the restroom. The last straw for my mother was when my best friend... Well, it would suffice to say it was rough for everyone. I'm so sorry. It must have been difficult. I couldn't get over the feeling of being abandoned. It wasn't until I'd grown that I understood some of the stress my mother had been going through to give me up like that. Did you see her again? She visited a number of times, always with my favorite treat to make it easier for the both of us. What did she bring you? Steamed eggs. Over the years, she visited less and less. Eventually, the visits stopped entirely. I'm afraid to ask, but... well, what happened? She passed away from a disease. The nonchalant way Jinhai speaks about it does nothing to stop my own feelings from welling over. I'm so sorry. Noticing me... Oops, the volume just upped on that song. Okay. Noticing me doing my best to hold back, she wipes the tears away with her thumb. No, I should apologize for making you upset. I should have stopped sooner. It was quite some time ago. I shake my head. No, I was the one to ask after all. I'm just really sensitive. But I appreciate you sharing something like that with me. She holds my hand. Are you sure you're okay? If it's any consolation, growing up in the monastery wasn't so bad. The nuns took care of us really well. Us? There were other children. Yes, it wasn't that unusual, rather. Although, everyone's reason for being there was a little different, so I did get to play with others around my age. Actually, I even got into quite a bit of trouble at first. You were acting out? Yeah, the schedule was also a bit stringent on a child. Little sleep, early mornings, multiple prayer sessions, the like. I was also tickling too many people. That's a bad thing? I like to see people laugh, but apparently it's against the rules to tickle monks. It's in the doctrine, actually. But anyway, we all adjusted in the end. Even me, huh? Jinhai lets go of my hand, but I immediately latch back onto it on my own initiative. You okay? I was thinking, maybe it's time for me to tell you why I am here. Okay, before she does that, real quick. So I mentioned like three streams ago, I think 2 ago, I compared the fight scene at the beginning of the game between the old version and the new version. So the fight scene is in Japanese. We're gonna see it again a little later where they translate it, because Lihn, at this point in the game, doesn't know what they said. But I compared the fight scene between the old and new version, and in the original version of the game, Jinhai used the pronoun boku, which in Japanese is a pronoun male speakers use for themselves. So it's like the pronoun for I in English, like I, myself, but in Japanese, it's like I, myself that men use versus what female speakers would use. But in the current version of this game, Jinhai uses watashi, which both men and women speakers will use, but mostly female speakers use. So I think it's interesting here, Jinhai's explaining why she was in the monastery to more or less go under the radar, to like avoid child snatchers, slavers, potentially. Like she doesn't know exactly who they were, but her mom's like, I'm gonna hide you so that this doesn't happen to you. So given that, I feel like it would be really interesting if Jinhai referred to herself as boku, like the male pronoun, because that would even further put her under the radar. Because specifically if these kidnappers, slavers even, are targeting women, then it would further protect and hide her if she spoke of herself as a man, at least in Japanese. Granted, that might not translate to other languages, but in the Japanese fight, I thought it was really interesting that in the original version of the game, she used boku, the male pronoun. So I just want to point that out. She doesn't use it in the new version, but I'd like to think, in my headcanon, I'd like to think that in Japanese she does use more masculine speak. But alright, Jinhai is done with her story. Now Lihn is about to share hers. I was thinking maybe it's time for me to tell you why I am here. I didn't tell you just so you'd feel obligated. You really do not have to tell me. My hand tightens around hers. No, I really want to tell you. Okay then, I am listening. That was absolutely awful, what happened to you. Yeah. Hearing it from your perspective does make me feel a bit foolish for my abrupt entry then. It was very dramatic, but you looked very cool. I'm sure it was a touch excessive. I was worried she was doing something she wasn't supposed to. What was she doing? She was casting a siren song on you. I believe you'd been entranced by her spell. Yeah, that does sound like it. I can be pretty scary when she wants to be, huh? I am happy to hear that she did save you from the pit. Yeah, I'm grateful to her. Though I probably shouldn't tell her what else I said that night, my soul and whatnot. It does look like she's finally gotten her abilities under control, though. From your... Oh, that's Lihn speaking. From your good influence. I doubt she also sees it that way. Suddenly realizing I'm still holding Jinhai's hand, I quickly let go. Sorry. Thank you for sharing your eggs with me. I haven't had it for quite some time. Why's that? I didn't always have access to a steamer or stock. Ah, right, you said you were traveling. Truly. If there are any childhood dishes you'd like, let me know. We can figure it out together. Taking her hand, Jinhai tugs me towards the house. It's getting late. Let's head back. I can only nod as I try to fight back the blush threatening to bloom on my cheeks. This is so cute with the chicken on her head. I just realized it's kind of like Verde on my head. I mentioned last stream I have Verde just chilling up there. He's my buddy, chilling on my head. Coincidentally, we have here Jinhai with her birdie pal on her head. Alright, let's go. Oof, time to get up, huh? Pretty sure I fell asleep in my room last night. Am I still dreaming? Yep, definitely dreaming. Hi there, me. You need to stay calm. Okay, this is very confusing. Whatever you do, try not to panic. What are you talking about? I go to rub the sleep out of my eyes, but something feels off. These aren't my hands? Oh my gosh, what is this? A tail? And it's attached to me? This is the weirdest dream ever. Well, you are taking this better than I would have expected. I really need to wake up now. Yes, it does seem like only part of you is awake. You need to stop pinching yourself. It's not like it's doing anything. The skin is super tough. I implore you not to do any harm to my body. Your body. Wait, is that you? Yes. This isn't a dream, is it? No, unfortunately. I'm not actually sure how, but I end up tumbling down the stairs behind me. This can't be real. Stop panicking. It will be all right. No, don't go in there. Every time I see the tail in the corner of my eye, I don't know how or why, but I almost reflexively launch myself away from it. Stop running around. You are going to break things. Ow. Just hold still right there. I'm scared. The realization I'd normally be crying already makes me realize this body doesn't seem to be able to. It is far from hopeless. Do not be afraid. I will figure it out. You will? Of course. I am a goddess after all. Though I can finally see why you humans find this form intimidating. Now that you mention it, it's hard to make facial expressions with this body, actually. It does not have as many facial muscles as a human's. They are not useful for this body's purpose. What purpose is that? To protect myself. Oh. Wait, what do we tell Jinhai? Nothing at all. You will pretend to be me until I figure out what is happening. I don't think I'm very good at impersonations. Do your best. I will cover for you. That's so much easier said than done. Well, good morning, you two. You're both up early today. Good morning. Am I always that perky? Behind Jinhai, my own face mouths really at me. Honestly, this is too surreal. Did I overdo it already? Let's have breakfast. Reflex has me about to make a move for the door, but I immediately jumps in and waves me off. It's kinda unfair how she got used to using my body so fast. Staring at my new hands makes a new problem imminent. She mastered my legs fast. I better master these chopsticks fast, too. In the end, I'm so lost in thought that Jinhai places the food down and blinks twice before I notice. Are you two feeling all right? Oh, this is Lynn as I. Oh my god. Nothing. Crap, I still don't have it down. Jinhai starts her morning prayer while I helplessly gaze at Ai, who just rolls her eyes at me and puts her palms together. Hope the food is good today. It is always exquisite. Hearing Ai praise Jinhai's cooking is really amusing. Could it be that those are her true thoughts? Jinhai looks at me next, expectant. Oh shoot, I hope she didn't see me smile. I am sure it is satisfactory. Last resort, Ai-style stuffing my face. It seems to work at least, because Jinhai turns her attention back to Lynn. What are your plans for the day, Lynn? Yikes, almost blew our cover. I held back the words in time, but a sound still came out. Oops. I will be helping out. Sounds good. Did you want to help prep food again today? I can see the "I will pass" about to leave her lips, but I catches it in time. Yes, come get me when you need me. Great, I'll see you both later then. Only when we hear the outside door finally close behind Jinhai can we finally breathe. It was so hard not to move. I can't stop staring at my tail. It's moving a bit right now, isn't it? I don't understand how my tail works. Do not worry about it. Let us return to my room for now. How? Do not think, just start in the direction you want to go, and let the body move by its own memory. It is like walking. You do not have to think about every step. Your body knows to move on its own. I guess that makes sense. Follow me. Turning off my brain kind of works, but I end up catching some weird stares from Ai when she sees me doing some of Jinhai's breathing exercises in an effort to keep my mind blank. It's been a few hours now. I know. Can we stop staring at each other? I don't think anything we've done has been helping. I don't think she has any idea what's happening. Stop frowning like that. But what if we stay this way forever? I am positive that will not be happening. How do you know? I just do. Deep down, I know this is a short-term event. She mutters something to herself. Shinjirarenai. You can't believe what? Wakarimasu ka? Wait, yeah, I do understand you. How can this be? Perhaps you are tapping into my memory somehow. Does that mean it's the same for you? Technically, yes. Whoa, wait, pause a second. What's wrong with my body? What do you mean? There's red lines flowing all over you. It centers in the middle of my chest. Is that my heart? I can see how blood flows in any living creature, and in general, locate heat sources in a reasonable vicinity. Keep your eyes closed or you'll drain yourself using that power. This is really scaring me. And, so I should have my eyes closed all the time until we get this fixed? Lynn. Can her timing be Oh, that was Jinhai. That makes sense. Lynn, Can her timing be any worse? Don't leave me. You will be fine. You are in an invincible body. There is nothing to be scared of. Just relax and think about something else. I will be back shortly. You promise? Of course. This will be over soon enough. Maybe I should try meditating again. It should calm me down, at the very least. Breathe in, hold, and out. I do this a few times until my vision... Oh yes, we got our translation. Alrighty. Let me grab my notes because I think it starts in Japanese and then it translates. Haha. My notes for the new version of the game, which... God, it's so different from the original version. My vision suddenly fills with color. It's a scene. Dirt below me and leaves above me. Another dream? Hey, we got that lullaby track back. Then a giant close-up shoe steps in front of me. As I look up at its owner, it's Jinhai? Oh, what are you doing here, little one? I better let the others know to be aware of your presence. Jinhai is now working with a huge pile of clothes and noticed my presence. You visiting again? Now I'm in a tree. Way better than underwater. Who's that? I spot Jinhai sleeping on a nearby branch. She seems to be in deep sleep as I move closer. Jinhai's voice, a painful, awfully distressed scream. Oh, interesting. They don't do the Japanese first. It's only English. What commotion are you causing now? I never imagined you would kidnap someone. I did no such thing. If anything, I helped her. That's what you tell yourself. It's a good thing I finally found you. So you can finally finish me off once and for all. Ai gives off a strong burst of energy and knocks Jinhai into the trees. All the good I've done for you, and this is how you repay me. Ai has Jinhai off the ground in a single grip. I should end this now. You will only continue to add to your trail of death. What? Wake up. What was with all those dreams? What did you see? They were really short tidbits. I can barely remember any details about it, except... Jinhai, she was in every one of them. She looked almost the same, but with no hair? Doesn't that mean... Ai doesn't look pleased at all with this revelation. You have tapped into my memories as well. Oh, damn. It finally dawns on me why the last dream felt so familiar. Oh, that was definitely the fight on the first day we all met. As I recall the memory, an almost surreal feeling of understanding washes over me. And I realize I remember what was said between the two. I instantly retreat into a corner without really thinking about it. Feels like Ai's body moved instinctively, according to how I felt. You remember something else. What exactly happened between you both? Something serious, but it is not time for you to know this yet. You were not supposed to have seen any of that. Am I just not worthy enough to know? That is not the case. It is I who is not ready. We both turn to the bottom of the stairs. It's time to eat. Coming. Persevere just a little bit more. All right. How is the food? Yummy. Good. Oh, wait. That was Lynn saying good as I... Oh my god. Good. Wonderful. Great work, Ai. I pretend she didn't hear anything and doesn't look up from her bowl. Jinhai peers at me curiously. Not knowing what to do, I end up freezing like a startled rabbit. Are you okay in there, Lihn? Oh. Did you manage to see through our prank so quickly? Darn, you got us. Ah, is that right? That was a good trick from you both. Here you go. Jinhai heaps more tofu in Ai's bowl. Ai looks mildly deathly as she stares at the bowl of solely tofu and veggies. Ai, good luck. She ain't gonna make it. After a moment, Ai puts her chopsticks down with an air of finality and immediately hands the bowl over to me. I cannot continue this any further. She immediately takes my bowl of meat and eats it. Jinhai bursts out laughing. How'd you suspect us? I can sort of feel your auras. The two of you were not normal at all this morning. Seeing Lihn using chopsticks in the opposite hand from Ai's usual confirmed it. Uh-huh. Also, your knife skills are not as good as Lynn's. In that case, why are you not surprised by this turn of events? It has happened before, between us. What? I certainly do not remember this. I don't know how or why it happened, but it did, though you were unconscious in my body and missed it all. I see. I chew my tofu quietly, thinking it wiser to take a bystander approach instead of butting in between the two. Still, how crazy is this? How long does this state last? It was only a day. I suspect it will be the same for this case as well. We still don't know we still don't know much about the effects of your powers, it seems. It truly lacks a logical explanation. Maybe we should suspect magic after all, Though perhaps I am just a freak of nature. Or maybe a miracle. I am surprised you would see it in that matter. I've never seen her react this way before. Every curse is a blessing to another. Now, why don't we finish eating and sleep early tonight? Sounds good. The tofu is spectacular today. Ugh, at least my body can eat that without problems. Then doesn't that mean I is just extraordinarily picky? Getting glared at by my own features as I giggle helplessly is seriously a surreal experience. Boop. I love the little boop. To my great relief, the tail is gone by the time I wake up the next morning. Just to be safe, let's save. I don't know why I remember to save when I do this visual novel. And every time I do the Highway Blossoms, I always forget until the very end. Alright, future. After swap. Yes, overwrite. Return. Alright, we'll do a little bit more. To my great relief, the tail is gone by the time I wake up the next morning. I'm not sure how long it's been since then, but I feel like despite more or less having settled back into our original routine, something seems to have not quite settled back the same way as before. It's that, well, I always enjoy meals. Actually, they're kind of the highlight of my day, but lately I've been feeling a quiet tension between my two housemates. But it's not my place to say anything, right? I thought I saw Ai heading to her room. Ai? What do you want? Oh, sorry, am I bothering you? My apologies. I did not intend to sound curt. Were you in need of my assistance? I was just wondering if you were all right. Why would I not be? How should I say this? You and Jinhai don't play with each other anymore. Play. I mean, tease, I guess? You two always like to make fun of each other. Ah, the banter, is that right? My apologies if the change in atmosphere has been bothering you. Ai seems to be in deep thought, but refocuses on me after a moment. I will admit it was my intent to make this place as perfect as possible, so that when I've someone to stay here, their wish would never be to leave. It is my wish. Why is that? I am unable to move freely in the outside world. All this genius stuck here on this mountain. Humble as ever. Now about Jinhai. We are fine. If anything, I need to discuss matters with you. What did you see during the incident? Right, so first I see. It is as you suspected. Those were my memories of Jinhai from when we first met. How long have you known her? At that point in time, maybe a few years. Did something happen? Ai clams up and refuses to look at me. Avoid that topic. Got it. Oh, I also remembered that incident when she first showed up. What did you understand from it? Jinhai didn't seem happy. She was pretty sure you kidnapped me, and then you seemed serious. You genuinely wanted to, hurt her? Was that it? Was there more after that? I think you woke me up at that point. I see. No, that is more than sufficient. Do you have any residual language capabilities? If that's your fancy way of asking, can I speak or understand your language? That's a definite no. Ah, what a shame. We could have had so much fun. You could always speak to Jinhai in your language, though, right? That is not fun. What would you want to talk about? Ai moves in quite close to me. I am sure we can figure something out. Oh, I can hear Jinhai calling me to help with dinner. But I did not hear anything. Well, then I better go. She doesn't realize I also tease her plenty too. She sure blushes rather easily nowadays. You wanted to talk with me? Yes, I had another question for you. Will this be another one of those deep philosophy talks? Go ahead. Do you believe people marry for love? Yep, it's one of those, all right. Perhaps for some lucky few. Ai seems to be shifting in place as she ponders this, the end of her tail making abstract shapes just above the ground. I have heard that if any two people of reasonably good character were to meet, they could potentially come to love each other. I think I can see that happening. With arranged marriages being the most common, it would probably be easier to try to make it work somehow, instead of resisting. If it hadn't gone the way it did, I wonder, would I have fallen in love with An? What do you think was the cause, or was the case with your parents? Oh, let me think. I heard that father saw mom walking down the road one day, thought she would be a good wife, and then went to see her parents to ask for her hand. Oh man, this reminds me. I wish I remembered all the details. My cousin remembers the details better than I do. I'm tempted to, go grill my cousin and then next stream share the story when I know all the details, but this does remind me with my great-grandparents on my dad's side. So, I think I mentioned in another stream, both sides of my family come from farmers. One side more like animal farmers, the other side more like agricultural farmers, but still, both sides got a double whammy. And on my dad's side, they were more like agricultural in the countryside. And for my great-grandparents, I don't know when, again, I need to grow my cousin, but my great-grandfather basically saw my great-grandmother. I don't know, maybe they interacted and he really wanted to court her. And he, like, asked for her, like, hand in marriage, but she, like, basically gave him, like, some, like, weird challenge. Like, I think what it was he had asked her parents, like, can I marry your daughter? And they're like, yeah, sure. But then she's like, no, I want him to come to me. He's gonna ask me directly. I'm not gonna marry this guy who just goes to my parents, hasn't even asked me. And then, so he ended up traveling to see her, and it was quite a distance too, like out in the countryside. So then he asked her directly, and then she's like, all right, this guy's decent. He actually followed through and asked me directly. Again, I'll ask my cousin for the details, but I think that was more or less it. She's like, I'll marry you if you can be direct and ask me to marry you, not just go to my parents instead. I believe that's what happened, so this little snidbit of Lynn's parents reminds me of my great-grandparents, so Lynn's dad went to see her parents to ask for her hand, but if I remember my great-grandparents' story, my great-grandmother was like, no, you're gonna ask me as well as my parents. You're not just gonna be a stranger in all this. I like my great-grandmother. I saw her when I was little. They were very long-lived, so I got to see them when I was little, and she always had a very youthful energy to her. Alright. I am not saying animal behavior patterns are always superior, but generally it is the female who tends to have options available for suitable mates. I'll have to take your word on that, as always. In any case, the reality for humans is that happiness in marriage can end up being a matter of chance. I don't know if I can agree with that. If happiness is really that random of a thing. With human behavior, it would seem that marriage is a matter of sharing of two resources in order to reproduce future descendants to further bloodlines. So that is why you are curious if people can marry for love. Yes, the man who lived here was a bachelor for quite a while, but after a short disappearance, he suddenly reappeared with a wife in tow. They appeared to be quite happily partnered, with the deepest love for each other. The way she describes the story, were you jealous? I was jealous, yes. Of the fact that I did not know what love entails, or if I could experience it myself. Attempting to learn in my usual manner only caused me frustration. Some animals can behave in ways similar to the human concept of marriage. There are a few who mate for life, or a few cycles at least. Love is too complex and uncertain a matter. But eyes already shifted to her mermaid form and slips into the water without a backwards glance. Within seconds, I can't even see her shadow under the surface. Honestly, though, it's a bit of a relief. What am I supposed to say if she asks me about it? Even if I were to ask me. Is this a dream sequence? Here we go again. Okay, let's pause here. Last stream, I'm like, I'm gonna stream for an hour and a half, because that seems like a good, solid stream time for a visual novel. And then I went for 2 hours last time, because I lost track of time, and I get really invested in the stories. But it's been an hour and a half. I'm actually gonna end at an hour and a half today. We will end on this nice blue underwater scene. I will save here, and we shall pick up here with this dream sequence